Hey, aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam session. Tom Gaddis here. We are live with Nick coming to you from Maui, Hawaii. How's it going, Nick?
It's good. Fairly tired.
Just looks crazy. But
oh yeah,
maybe I'm just crazy.
You're a little crazy. You're also a little tired. We've had a long month, right? But an even busier 24 hours because, well, we're going to get into that in a second, but it's been crazy.
Yeah, one thing about being here when we do these kinds of launches, like I got up at 3 a.m. this morning and probably won't go to sleep till tomorrow.
Or next week.
Yeah, or next week. I don't know. Awesome. Well, we're super excited you guys are here. I see we have a lot of our sharks on here. I see Ron, I see Kurt, Aloha, Zach, Andreas, Leah, Janice, Glenn. Welcome everybody. John, Barbara. Yeah, we're super excited to be here too. So yeah, we're awesome. We're looking forward to this. So we're gonna get the ball rolling. We may have a special guest coming on at the end. We're not sure if he's going to be able to make it yet, but we're hoping that he'll come on maybe towards the end of the show. But I thought maybe we would start off, Nick, with our shark shout outs. We always like to start these shows doing that.
Yeah.
So that banner up there.
Real quick before you get into that, we do have some special announcements, if I can speak, that we're going to break down over this call. So stick around with us. This is going to be an exciting call. And yeah, we do have some great shout outs. Let me pull up my show notes here.
Yeah, I know our first shout out goes to Joanne Smith. So Joanne, a big shout out from the Sharks. And
can you share the screen?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me try this. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Share screen. Let me do this one. So you guys should be looking at my screen there. I love that GIF. That's one of my favorite ones. Or GIF, however you say it. But Joanne posted in the Offline Sharks group that she had a new client that moved business and wanted help with their GMB. Since she'd set up a Google agency account, it was easy for her to fix it by adding them to her client account. She charged $150 for updating the address, which was like 2 minutes of work, and $150 to optimize their listing as an upsell. And the price was no object as they were desperate to get it fixed. So having moved and everyone was looking at the wrong address online, going to push GMB services this year. So that's really awesome, Joanne. Way to go. Way to go. Should like this post. I haven't liked it yet. Yeah, so that's an awesome shout out. And GMB actually, Nick, I don't know if you had it scheduled to talk about this today, but I know there were some updates that happened with GMB, right?
Yeah, so Joanne, be a little careful on how you are going to be doing any sort of GMB optimizations. I mean, if you're going to be outsourcing, be careful with that, just because Google rolled out an update recently over the last week or two where, some managers, and when I say managers, I mean email accounts that are connected with GMB management services have been flagged as doing something against terms of service or for whatever reason they've been flagged. So as of right now, I wouldn't be purchasing any total GMB management. And I think a good practice would be to not add any managers to any of your Google My Business accounts at all. Like, just refrain from that. And you should be able to do management services on your own, or have somebody on your team that isn't affiliated with any of that stuff to do the management for you. And you should be totally fine. But yeah, in terms of doing 100% outsourcing, I'd probably stay away from that unless the outsourcers are people on your team. And yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, GMB is still a good service. And by the way, none of the GMB stuff that we have going was affected, right?
Yeah.
But we follow those kind of practices. Like we're not really using a third party to manage them for us, which is, I think, where the issue was. Awesome. Hey, I want to do a shark shout out to Scott Logan too. He said he just jumped in on the Lead Factory program and joined the Facebook group. So welcome, Scott. We're glad to have you in the community. You're gonna find a ton of awesome people in this group. We have so many smart, I mean, a lot smarter than us, local marketers in here that share their information. So you are gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So welcome. Let's see. We have another shark shout out. Hold on, I got to pull this over. There we go. There we go. We have another shark shout out to Jacqueline Heath. So Jacqueline, I like that. I like that gift too. It said, okay, guys, her dilemma over which product to go has been solved. This morning, she got her first outside Sharks client. Andrea wants me to show her how to build her Facebook profile organically and also run a Facebook ads campaign for her. So it's got to be down and dirty Facebook ads. I'm really excited to be starting this journey, and any tips from the old hands will be much appreciated. So awesome work, Jacqueline. It's been really, I know you've been really working hard to get this thing off the ground and get those first clients. So super stoked for you that you're able to get that deal. So big kudos and shout outs to Jacqueline.
Jacqueline's on the call too, so it's always nice to be able to give a shout out and see the person on the call with us too. So
yeah, and Jacqueline does some great things for the community as well, because she makes these little videos that you can use for clients, and she posts some of them just at no charge for people in the group. So really awesome, Jacqueline. Yeah, cool. So let's see, what's another shark shout out here? We have another one. Oh, seems like it looks like you have two shark shout outs for this person. So this is, let me move this over into the screen here. This is going to Zachary Smooth. Zach, our man, always out there freaking making stuff happen, crushing it. If you guys haven't really been following Zach and watching what he's doing, like you should, he's a real inspiration, I know, to both Nick and myself, and he's just doing killer stuff out there. Like, working, we all have things that we deal with. Zachary has, I think, more than most, and yet he's like out there every day, taking action, getting clients, doing this thing. So it's really, really awesome. So Zach said, well, about 45 minutes ago, the website inquiry who I had the meeting with Saturday messaged back and said that he'd love to go through with the website. So tomorrow morning, he'll get his information, drop the contract, email it. If that goes through, he'll have 2 more websites to build. So awesome work, Zachary. Awesome work.
And Zachary's on the call with us too. So again, our action takers always hang out with us, and it seems like they're the ones having the success. I just want to point that out. I mean,
hey, that there may be a secret there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other shout outs that you want to do, Nick, before we go past that list?
I saw that I could be mistaken. I thought Zach got another client in between the post for this one. But then again, he's just been getting so many new clients. It's kind of hard to keep up. So no way.
We have to have a marketing show about every other day.
Congratulations. And also, one other person that I did want to give a shout out to is Jason Gale, who's here with us today. Also one of our action takers, longtime action takers. I was going through some testimonials, some images that I had, and I came across a screenshot that Jason had given us, or a testimonial that he'd given us February 20th, which was a day ago, but I believe it was either a year or maybe 2 years ago, where he had just mentioned coming into our community, landing his first client, bigger ticket client, and then putting together I think $3,000 or $4,000 in recurring services into his business in a pretty short amount of time from being a part of our community here. So I sent that to him yesterday and said, happy anniversary. And it's cool that he's on the call. Because, he's been with us. Obviously, he's totally killing it in his local space. He's got an office space in a mall in his local area, and he's just working with lots of customers, lots of clients. Oh, 2 years today, he said, or 2 years yesterday. So
happy anniversary, Jason.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Zachary put in the comments, he said, yes, he has 2 more clients for websites. Both agreed to $50 a month for hosting maintenance. So you got some recurring built in there. That is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think probably what you were thinking of, Nick, was the other thing that we have in our show notes here is also for Zachary, and it was actually the most popular post in the group. And it was Zach sharing a website that Vicky and him created together. And it's for Amy's bookcase. So you can see this post in the group and check it out. So really awesome. So, I mean, it's really great to see. It's really great to see all you guys like taking action and just doing this thing, like so rewarding.
Yeah. Collaborating, working together. I mean, a big piece of this group, a big piece of this community was like, Tom and I we're trapped. We're stranded on this little island in the middle of the Pacific, right?
Yeah,
but
what was us? It's so sad.
We're trapped. I mean, we're like cast away. We're like freaking Tom Hanks and Wilson hanging out in this place. Wilson! But a big piece of this for us, really just starting this, for those of you that don't know, because, we got a lot of people here with us today. Tom and I were both getting started with local marketing, trying to get some clients. And, we didn't really have a community of people to turn to. There weren't a lot of other people here on this island hanging out, doing, chasing their dreams with this. And so that's kind of how we connected and started working together. And when we had questions, we didn't really have anywhere to go to. So that's where Offline Sharks really started, is trying to create a place where we could go to get answers to our questions, and now we have this tremendous asset here where we have so many people that have all this great information, people like Tom mentioned, much smarter than even him or I. And, when I have a question, I come to the group and I ask it. And that's my resource, right? It's go-to. Whereas before, I always use this analogy, or I always talk about this, where before I was trying to I would break a website, right? I remember breaking customer websites, and they would be like a live business. And I would be so scared that the business owner would be calling me and saying like, hey, what the hell are you doing? You broke my website. I was so scared of that, and it happened. But where do you turn? Where do you find out how to fix this website? Where do you get the answers to that? And I remember being like in chat rooms, trying to find like chat rooms. And this is, a few years ago, trying to find people that knew what they were doing, seeking them out, trying to get answers. And, I haven't been to one of those chat rooms in ages now. And when I go somewhere for a question, it's straight to the Offline Sharks Facebook group. And I know that's what makes the content there so amazing. That's what makes the value there so incredible, as well as so many people do that, right? We've got questions, we've got failures to learn from, success stories to learn from, all those things. I mean, you just don't really get that kind of real world case studies and examples like you do with everybody in the community. So
yeah, it's really awesome to see all that. And I saw somebody in the comments was asking if that's a Sharks website theme, and I don't think that it is. I'm pretty sure that it's not. They used a different theme for that, which is okay, right? Like we don't mind that. Like a lot of the things that we talk about and teach, like, you can use a lot of different tools to fulfill. The important thing to us is that you guys actually take action and get some clients, right? Like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to us whether you're using our stuff, as long as you're getting clients and making money. Like that's really what we want to see. So
yeah, really, I mean, awesome. You guys, we're transparent with you. Like, it doesn't matter to us. We're happy to see you succeed in whichever way you can succeed. I mean, we're not trying to hold you back in any way like that. I mean, and even what we're talking about, obviously Tom and I, we just came out with a product today, Lead Factory with Brian Anderson. you're going to see a ton of people out there today promoting our product, and there's going to be all these bonuses all over the place and all that stuff. But, you know, like if you see a bonus you want to go for it. Like we're not trying to hold you back from anything. And we're going to talk more about that in a few minutes, but
yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. So one of the other things I want to get at here, let me put this up here so you guys can see this. We had some popular questions in the group. So one came from Shannon, who I don't know, Nick, did Shannon message me? He's coming to Maui.
Yeah, he's coming to Maui. Actually, just a few minutes from where we live. So like about 5 minutes down the street, he's going to be staying by the Cove right next to one of our clients. They have a big Airbnb over there. He's like next door to Villas by the Cove.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to meet him. So, you know, from time to time, sharks show up here on the island. So if any of you guys are ever here, or you know you're coming here, like reach out to us. We love to like meet up for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. We've met several people, you know, through the past few years that we've been doing this that show up here, and it's always really awesome to connect and like meet face to face and stuff. But Shannon said, his question was, I have my web design Google My Business account set up on my office in Mesa, Arizona, but I was wondering if I could register a completely different type of business at the same address location. I'm doing a cleaning company with a business partner of mine, and we want to use my same office since it's close to both of us. Can we do that? Will this negatively affect our SEO? So maybe, Nick, maybe you can talk a little bit about that in the past.
Yeah. Yep. You can absolutely do that, Shannon. Think about, and I talk about this quite a bit too, you know, when you think about doing SEO, think about the high-rise buildings in the city. You know, you got to go real into the SEO mindset, right? Like, does Google really know that? I mean, I'm sure they do because they know everything. But when you have a high-rise building, right, you have hundreds of businesses in one building. They get one space for a pin on the map, right? What does that look like? So the way that I really look at things is that, you know, if it's something that could realistically exist when it comes to a backlink or some sort of off-page signal or optimizing a business listing, if it exists elsewhere legitimately, then it's probably okay. You know, you don't want to do something that like you would create out of your imagination, you know? So having one pin or having multiple pins for one business all over the place, and it's not really true, like that type of thing could really and you could end up in a bind.
Yeah, I mean, I used a UPS box for a long time for stuff, and I never had any issues. Now, I know that's against Google's terms of service, but I never had any issues with that, right? Anything like that. Hey, I see that our guest messaged and said he's here, but I don't know where to get the link to send him. You got it?
Yeah, send it to him.
Awesome. So, and then Adil had a question too. He said, how do you handle people putting their spam offers on the contact page of the website? Currently, I saw there are 230 submissions in my contact form section, all filled with spam info.
It's a good question. Really fair question. And it happens all the time, even with customers, right? Like customer websites, we build them websites and they end up with a bunch of spam because, I mean, let's be honest, spam you're going to be targeted regardless. And if you end up on the first page of Google, you're going to be targeted even more. So what we do is a reCAPTCHA, something like that. We set up one of those reCAPTCHA things on your form that people actually have to fill out, and that's the way we do it.
Yeah, then at least, or at least that holds it so you can just delete it without it actually going live.
Exactly.
You can do that too, yeah. Awesome. Let's see. What else do we want to go through here? Let me check the comments here. Yeah, you don't want to try to game the GMB system. That's for sure. You should not give advice on something that could harm their listings. Yeah, like Steve, I agree. I mean, I tell people what I did, like from my experience, but I always use that kind of that disclaimer that like, hey, I don't recommend you do this. I'm just telling you, I didn't have any issues with it, but I'm not saying that's what you should go out and do, right? I think you should do things on the up and up as much as possible. I think that's super important.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. So why don't I do a real quick, let's, well, do you want to bring our guest on first, or should we do our...
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we should talk about it a little bit. We should build the suspense a little, though, you know?
Well, he is so our guest, I've known this guy for a long time. Like, I bought some of his first products that he put out.
Did.
His Skype, I believe he said these Skype local marketing groups. And I was in the Skype local marketing groups, and you know, when he was starting out with his first business partners, and you know, he's a real stand-up guy, and it's been really great to actually be able to really get to know him and work with him on various projects and stuff, because he's one of the few guys out there that, I mean, is like really crushing it in his local agency, like not made up numbers, doing over 7 figures from real local businesses. And those people are very few and far between. Like, I would like to get there someday. So, you know, whenever he talks about like what's working and what he's doing, like, I know I pay particular attention, because I know there's a lot that went into those things, a lot of testing, a lot of insight and stuff like that. So Nick, you want to say anything before we bring him on?
I see him. He's laughing at us in the because he hates being built up like that. I know it, but yeah, I mean, I won't do it too bad, even though he's been beating me up all morning too, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the other great thing. He's just a fun guy to hang around with. Like, you know, you give each other a lot of crap. Like, it's a lot of fun. So we're gonna bring in our guest, everybody. This is Brian Anderson. How's it going, Brian?
Man, Tom, I just came back from the gym. I told you I was going to go do it, and I did an hour workout in 35 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I'm dying. If I look rough, you guys, it's because I feel really rough right now. I just got my butt kicked.
That's awesome.
No, thanks for letting me come on, you guys. I was just listening in the background. I love the comment. I don't remember I think it was Scott Corey. Why do people send spam to contact pages? And I'm like, in my mind, it's a big waste of time. I know some people do it, but I've tried it before. I've tried everything. And, you know, there's a guy that produced a product 3 or 4 years back that did that. So I bought it. I started using it. I never really got anywhere. And the reason people send spam to contact pages is they're not smart enough to just get the darn email, which is the real problem. If you get the email, you would never bother with the contact page. But anyway, I saw Scott's comment. I was chuckling because I totally agree with him.
It's actually a really good point. I mean, you know, kind of what we're doing with Lead Factory. I mean, it's a big piece of what we're doing with Lead Factory, actually. You know, finding targeted emails, businesses, people that need your help, building a prospecting list that you can actually outreach to, that you're going to get a response from, and sending emails in a way that you're going to get a response, which is very different than what people are doing when they're just, you know, spamming, right? Very different.
Yeah, the spamming, like I sent, let me see if I happen to have something in front of me. I sent a bunch of emails today. I sent 8,387. These are a combination of different local markets. I had 1 unsubscribe and 0 complaints. I mean, I don't know how to share my screen, but 1 unsubscribe, 0 complaints. This was data that I used a popular scraper in the market. It had a lot of bounces. There was a lot of bad data, but I cleaned that out. So the next time I won't have any bounces. But the beauty is 1 unsubscribe and no complaints. And if you just give quality content, it's like on a website in SEO. If you put out quality, good things will happen. And if you send a good email and it's relevant and it doesn't say I'm going to rank you #1 on Google, buy my stuff, you're probably going to be okay. So anyway,
do you want a quality guest post backlink?
Yeah. Hey man, that used to be the thing, Nick. Let me see. You're third. Yeah, when you were like in ninth grade, everybody did that. I'm gonna tell you straight up all the time, and it worked. By the way, the problem is just like things, all things change, and voice drops. Like I had this product, voice drops. Voice drops was crushing it year after year, and then eventually one day the numbers went like this because nobody answers their phone anymore. Everybody just lets every call go to voicemail. It's different. The market's different. You just have to be able to adapt. That's all. Mm-hmm. But I agree. Don said, Brian, was that a Jim or a mani-pedi? I promise you, it was not a mani-pedi. That's hilarious.
Ron says, good old Georgia boy.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I was born in Europe. My dad was in the Army, but I've lived here since 90. Other than a year or two, 93. So I guess at some point you just say, yeah, I guess I'm a Georgia. My kids have grown up here. You always think you're from where you went to high school, right? Like Tom, did you go to high school in Oklahoma or no?
Yeah, I went to high school.
All right. So when you've been in Maui, let's say 30 years, and you lived in Oklahoma, I don't know, middle school and high school, where are you really from? At some point, you're a Maui boy. Yeah. And Nick will debate you, but in my mind, you become a Maui boy. So you know how it is.
Yeah, I'm halfway there. I got out of Oklahoma when I was like 18, so I've been in Maui now 10 years. So
10. You're 28.
Yeah,
there's some
other places along the way.
I lived other places.
Yeah, Texarkana, East Louisiana. Yeah, we know.
Hey, I've been to Texarkana. That town gets a bad rap. I
didn't even know what it was. I've heard of it, but I've never been there.
Yeah, I helped open an Olive Garden restaurant there.
Really? Oh, yeah. Nice, dude. My kids love Olive Garden for what it's worth. Let me tell you, Olive Garden.
Texarkana, what was interesting about Texarkana was there's one part of town where on one side of the street, it's a dry county, which means they don't sell alcohol. No alcohol. On the other side of the street, it's not. And so like you have to go across the street to buy beer and stuff like that. You can't buy it in the dry county. I've
never seen that. I've read about it. I know about it, but I've never actually seen it like that. It's pretty cool. I mean,
Oklahoma has a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, they were like one of the last states, I think, to adopt, liquor by the drink. Like you used to have to, like if you went out somewhere, you had to bring your own booze. And then when you gave it to the place, they charged you a bottle fee, and then they charged you every time they made you a drink out of the bottle you gave them.
It's amazing. In Atlanta, there's this restaurant about 20 miles from my house that does that. They sell wine, of course, right? But you can bring your own, and they'll charge you a corkage fee. So I'm like, it's like $15. I'm like, I'll bring like a really nice bottle of wine from home, say like a $50, $60 bottle of wine, pay the $15. It would have been $200 to have it at the restaurant. And we do that, but most places don't allow you to do that. They don't want to lose the profit on that alcohol. But
no, they don't. That's funny. We talked about that one of the jam sessions about the profitability in drinks and stuff.
Is that all the money? I don't do a lot with restaurants. That's got to be a lot of the revenue, right, for some of those places?
Oh yeah, the alcohol sales are a main focus. That's why just like you do in any business, like we always run contests for who sells the most alcohol. Sure. Like you always want incentives because the profit margin is so crazy on those. Like we were talking about this in a couple episodes ago. I mean, the profit margin on food is like super tiny. You cannot make money in the restaurant business relying on what you can charge for the food, because of waste and all the things that go into it. It's just really hard to have a good profit margin. So even for fast food places, and this is what we were talking about, like McDonald's, right? Like their most profitable thing is the soda.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Or like $2.50 for a tea, $3 sometimes. So and
that's it
costs a nickel, right?
Yeah, it costs pennies. So so hey, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we get into some questions with Brian is I wanted to talk briefly about our course Lead Factory because we've mentioned it a couple times, and I know I saw some people asking about what it is and what it does. So Lead Factory is a system for taking people who've never heard of you, right? Sending them some emails and then getting them to respond so you can move them into being a paying client, right? But one of the things that kind of stands out about this course versus other things like this that you may have seen before is that, one, we really try to put the proper perspective on implementing something like this. So I know earlier Brian mentioned, he sent out 8,000 emails today, but that's not like what Lead Factory is about. And that process is like, you build up to that, right? Like, that's not where you want to start. Like, starting there, it's just too much. So, really what we show you inside the course is, one, how to get more free leads than you'll ever need, right? So you don't have to have scraping software. You don't have to do any of that. Like, we just show you how to get them, how to identify the leads that are going to be the most likely to turn into clients, right? And then we show you, Brian actually gives you email sequences for 4 niches that have been the most profitable in all of our agencies. But each of these sequences has 4 emails, and they're designed to get the person to reach out to you, right? And Brian's tested these things out the wazoo. So, he shares like open percentages for the email subject lines. You get different variations, all this stuff. And in one of the videos in the training, he goes through the psychology of the emails and everything that's behind it. So it's really good info just knowing that stuff. But you get the email sequences so you can copy, paste them, use them as your own. And then we show you how to set up getting those on like an automated follow-up type thing without, again, having to buy any software. So we show you how to use free resources and tools so that you can automate this process. And then when somebody responds, it stops sending the follow-ups. And then we walk you into kind of one of our strategies for taking these leads and turning them into paying clients, which I never really hear anybody talk about. It's kind of like a consultative selling approach. I think we have some really good info on that in there. And then we also show you how to, like if you want to book appointments and things like that, we show you how to automate that. Again, using stuff that's free. Like, you don't have to buy anything extra out of there. So Lead Factory is really a targeted approach where you're focusing on 40 to 50 emails, especially if you're new. That's what we recommend. Now, if you're somebody who's out there just buzzing along in your business, like, you can obviously use the principles and the stuff in there and just scale it up accordingly, right? But if you're just starting out, probably best to just follow the approach, work through it, get comfortable with it before you start scaling that up. So we're super, super proud of this course. Nick and I were really stoked that you agreed to do this with us, Brian, because the emails are fantastic. All the info that you put in there is great. So
no, Tom, I was excited, and it's fun. It's fun doing this. And I agree with you. It's like, look, if you're doing more than 40 or 50 emails to start with, you're probably making a mistake. If you're on the newer side, you don't have either a team or you don't already have a bunch of clients, because you want to be able to manage that small flow and really kind of circle the wagon, so to speak, and just continue to tighter and tighter with your messaging and stuff until people go, yes, I'm interested, or they're not interested. And then you can move on. So yeah, because I'm scaling it across a bunch of salespeople, passing leads out and stuff like that. If you're doing it by yourself, which I imagine most people are, 50 would be top. 40 to 50 is absolutely ideal. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say too for everybody on the call is, and Tom kind of touched on this, but the sequences that we're giving you, that Brian's giving you, basically, those are all from real world stuff, right? He's tested this so much. Like, the results, you'll see some of the stats for each sequence and different headlines and things like that in each one of the files. But what we really want you guys to know is, like, everything that is in this is really tried and true, right? The volume of testing that has gone into this is insane. It's not like other stuff out there where you just don't have that type of data to back it up, right? This is results based. And I think that that's a big piece of this. And maybe you could speak to that a little bit, Brian.
No, it is about results, because most of the time when I was sending emails, I didn't get any responses. It didn't really work. And Nick, I started out doing what was natural. Like, I had an SEO agency for most of my career until like 2009. And every email I wrote was about SEO related terms and buzz and wording and ranking. And it took me a long time to figure out that nobody really cared. Like, no business owner cares about citations, about their GMB ranking. They don't care about that.
You confuse them.
Yeah, remember, they care about more customers, more patients, more clients, more booked appointments, things like this, measurable results. Now, you may get there with local search, but you need to speak their language, not yours, so that you connect with them and you don't confuse them, so that you resonate. And that's kind of what we do is for instance, if I'm talking about hair salons, I'm talking about how many chairs they have. I'm talking about booth rental. I'm talking about things that are specific to the space, because then when they get the email, it doesn't feel like spam. It feels like you're one of them. You can help them. You know what their pain point is, so that when you have that conversation and you're doing the strategy session the way Tom lays out, all you do is map what you offer to their pain point. And you may be doing video marketing, lead gen, SEO, it doesn't matter. That addresses any front end pain point. It's just how you talk about it. And as long as, remember this, who would rather talk about themselves, or would you rather talk about, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to talk about themselves. So it's like, Tom's like, let's talk about me, Brian. This is getting old.
I was waiting for you to pass to him.
Tom's going to pay more attention. And it's the same with the business owner, right? And if you talk about backlinks and citations and guest posting and yada, 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 you're going to be like, woo, way over their head, and they're going to disconnect, and you're going to miss a lot of the boat. Whereas if you talk about getting buyers back on the car lot, using words like be back or up, talking about conquest, you got to speak their language if you expect them to listen to you. Now, statistics will play out that you'll get responses even if you don't, but it's a lot more likely that you're going to win if you're connecting. Like if I knew restaurant stuff, which I don't, and I was talking to Tom, who's the general manager, the owner, he's going to be able to tell right away I know what I'm talking about or I'm not. And if it sounds like I'm another guy that's going to rank him on Google, I'm deleted more than likely. He's not even going to bother marking me as spam because it's not even interesting enough for him. He's going to hit delete, or he's not even going to bother to hit delete. He'll skip it. So
it's funny that you mentioned that, because last week I had a customer who's a solar client here, right? They do solar, yeah. And we do some different marketing stuff for them. We run ads, we do retargeting, things like that. And he was like, hey, will you come in and just have a strategy session with us? I want to share with you the new vision of where we're going in 2020 and get you more familiar with some of our products. And he was like, can you bring your project manager with you too, who's in Italy, not here? I'm like, no, yeah. She can't come. I'm like, no, you can't meet her. And then anyway, he basically wanted me to come in so I could learn the language, so I could learn the vernacular of his business, and I could help translate that through the different things that we were doing. So it really means a lot to them, right? That you can do that. That's a big piece of helping them get more customers and more businesses, knowing how to speak to them or speak for them, but also to get them as customers, you need to know how to speak to them. And I think that the information that Brian's laid out there, I mean, it's huge. And, somebody said in the comments, like, who is this for? And I think anybody, like, if you're on this call right now and you have not gotten your first client, or maybe you've got one, you don't have more than 5, put a 1 in the comments. Let us know. I just want to get a range for who's on this call that this could be for, right? This system, this process allows you, like the new person or somebody that already has some traction going, but really importantly, the new person, right? This is extremely low priced. It's like less than $30 for the next 4 days. It allows everybody to throw their hat in the ring of digital marketing. If you pick up Lead Factory today, you get basically the trifecta of Tom, Brian, and myself, right? All of our skill sets. Brian with the email marketing, me with the conversions and the landing pages, and Tom with the strategy session that allows anybody that doesn't have any sales skills or sales experience to come in and sell without selling, with this really strategic strategy session that allows you to, like I just said, sell without selling. For me, I see a lot of 1s in the comments. A lot of you are probably like me, that you're not, the natural born salesperson, right? The most difficult part to getting a client is going out there and selling. Well, how does a person like me get more clients? Like, I've got a thriving business. The way that I've been able to do that is find a way to use my skill set to my advantage. the ones that I have, the skill set that I have that I can play to, right? My conversions, my fulfillment, those types of things. I can use those when I couple it with the strategy session that Tom uses. I mean, one of the first times that I really was able to level up my prospecting was Tom and I were early on working together, and we were getting some client deals, and we'd go to these meetings. We'd go to some real estate agent offices. We'd go to restaurants, and sometimes I would sit across from him and I would hear him say the things to customers to lead them onto a sale that I had no idea how to say. Like, I had no confidence in trying to say that stuff to somebody else because I didn't know what to say. But actually hearing somebody else say it, boy, I tell you, I use it the next time for myself, right? You get that experience and you get that confidence. Monica says she hates sales. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people hate sales, but what can help you, Monica, is gaining confidence in what you're doing. And Brian and I were talking about earlier today, the strategy session, that module of Lead Factory, I mean, it's so underpriced for what it is right now. It's crazy. Like,
just that is $500 training, guys.
Easily.
The product was originally, I sat at the little restaurant in our hotel with Tom and Nick at night. Tom and I were enjoying a real drink, and Nick had, was it an orange juice or something, or a club soda? It was something.
Club soda.
Or milk. It might have been milk, but it was, we were sitting there in the lobby, and Tom and I were giving him a hard time. And I'm like, guys, this is every bit a $2,000 offer the way we designed it out. And then we're like, we kept arguing and analyzing and shifting. And we got down, it was between $500 and $1,000 of value because, look, it's 20 plus years of concise. Even if you already have 50 clients, I've got over 500. I still use the same thing. It works. And Tom's strategy session, especially Monica, like, I don't like to sell, but I don't mind talking to somebody, especially if they're interested and ask me a question to start. It's a lot easier. And if you follow the model, how much is it worth not to have to feel like a salesperson and to be able to feel more like a consultant, if you will? It's a great model. And honestly, Tom's section's fabulous. I mean, I just told a bunch of people on my list, you guys, that already had a lot of my templates and messaging. I said, you should buy this 10 times over, because the strategy session part is where you go from lead to money, right? You gotta, at some point that connection has to happen, and nobody wants to do it in the form of a salesy experience, or most of us don't. So Tom's got a nice model anyone can implement, and you don't have to be a sales guy.
Yeah, and
Larry, I'll check it. Somebody may have put the wrong folder. I'm going to blame Vanessa since she's not here, because it seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Let me check it for you right now while we're talking.
Tom, maybe you could open up the members area a little bit. Don't reveal too much. Leave some mystery, but maybe show them a little something. Just the sections. Give them some of the sections.
Yeah, let me find something here. There's a couple things I wanted to say about some stuff that Brian said, though, and one is, like, one of the things that you'll notice in Lead Factory is that we don't spend we don't really spend any time. Like, we have this one little section, but about talking about what you're actually selling, because really this whole, the psychology, the strategy, everything behind this works for anything that you want to sell. And to that point, I think Brian mentioned something that's really key, that it's important that people grasp. And that is, even though you're talking to your potential prospects in terms of, like, the salon, like chairs and all that stuff, like, when you start talking to them about what you can do for them, you just tie those things into whatever service you're offering. Because, I mean, you guys, and it's not hard to do that, because if you're talking to somebody that has a crappy website, I mean, do you think having a better website would help their business? Like, of course it would. Would it probably get them more calls? Of course it would. Like, they'd look more professional. People would come in, right? If you're doing reputation management, and and you're, even though you may talk to them in an email about bringing in more customers, like, do you think those bad reviews are impacting how many customers they get? Absolutely they are, right? Like, right. Any local service that you can think of can be tied back into some type of direct relation on the effect it has on bringing customers in, and the look of their business, right, in the marketing space. So, don't get so wrapped up in that. Like, just tie in what you're doing to what they're looking to do, right? Like, hey, we redo this website. Like, when people come here, it's going to look professional. You're going to look like a modern business. You're going to get more calls, right? That type of a thing. So, that was the first thing that I was going to say. And yeah, the strategy sessions themselves, like, they, again, don't have to be super complicated. We lay out a format and give you a simple format and all that stuff inside the training. So here, let me share my screen. And so this is the members area, right? So inside here, we've got like the system overview, Brian talking about kind of our hottest niches, giving you some insight there, right? Then we have a whole section on filling your factory. And this is, if you're going to do this, right, you need to have people to reach out to. So filling your factory is really about that, right? It's about how do you get leads to even contact, right? And most people tell you need to get expensive software, you should get lead scrapers. All that stuff has its place in time. But in the beginning, especially if you're first starting out, you don't need all that stuff. Like, there's plenty of places to find leads and build a prospecting hit list for free. And so we show you how to do all that in this section. And then again, the automation part of things, right? Like, not having to manually do all the follow-up and stuff is a big issue for a lot of people. And they think you need expensive software and stuff to do it. But again, we show you how to do it using free tools. We show you everything about the appointment setting, right? We even give you this is like a sample booking page that we put together. So this is actually in ClickFunnels, right? So if you have a ClickFunnels account, you can just click a button and import this. But if you don't, like, even if you don't have a website, you can still use our system, because we show you how to do it without having any of this. And you don't really need this. It's just one of those things that you can grow into, right? Or if you already have a website, you can kind of model our page on your site, right?
Which is another key piece too, Tom, right? Like, what we're teaching everybody here fundamentally is you don't need to buy anything else with it, right? We're teaching you how to use all free tools and capitalize on all this free stuff out there, and be successful with what we have in Lead Factory, plus the free stuff that you already have access to.
Yeah, and we did that on purpose, because we totally get it. Like, a lot of people out there are just starting to grow their businesses, or in the early stage. And so, if you're like Nick and I were in the early stages, you don't have that cash flow to do those things. And, I'm not saying that those tools are useless, because those tools have their place. And as you get cash flow coming in, you'll want to invest in stuff like that to really grow your business, right?
Right.
But for now, you don't really need to do that. And so that's kind of what we go over here.
If you have something like, like, let's say you are using an autoresponder and you don't want to use our recommended free email tool, then use your autoresponder. You're gonna have more traction with that, but you don't need to. That's the point. You don't need to. And if you have something that you can use to level up with what you're doing, or really compound your results, then go ahead and use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the thing is, like, like Brian was saying earlier, technology and things change, but the principles and strategies behind what we're doing don't change. They're the same from thing to thing. And if you can really start to get a grip on that, what is the psychology behind this? What's the strategy behind it? When something new comes out, you can just easily apply it to that thing, like, because you'll understand what we're trying to do and how the whole thing is working. Just that part about, that was such a golden tip that Brian said in the beginning, just about talking to people in their language. Like, if you just really made an effort to implement that in whatever you were doing, your results would get better, right? That's something that's going to work no matter how you're doing outreach, no matter what you're talking about. That's something that's going to be effective, right? So, yeah. And then in this section here is where we go through the strategy sessions and how to do those in a non-salesy way, so that you provide value without giving too much away, and get the person to trust you so that you can bring them as a client, right? And we did throw together a section on kind of what we see as the most profitable services to sell. So, like, if you're not really sure what to sell, these videos will kind of hopefully open your eyes to what are good services to offer, the pros and the cons of them, and things like that. So we did throw that in there just we didn't want to just leave you hanging, but really Lead Factory isn't about the services. Well, it's not about the services and the fulfillment. It's about, bringing clients in and getting them into your agency for whatever you're doing. Right. So, yeah, so it's a really solid course. Again, we're all very super proud of it. And, I think for the price that we have this on, it's really a great deal.
Hey, all right. I just figured it out. That's why I was looking crazy at the camera. Larry, somebody grabbed the wrong file, but Cameron on Tom and Nick's team is fixing it for us right now, and he's grabbing the right file and moving it over. So I appreciate you giving me that heads up. I saw it and I was like, no, I spent a lot of time on it. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so it should be you should be in good shape in a second. I just messaged with Cameron, and hey, you guys, if you don't mind me asking, I see somebody on the webinar who I don't know, but I think I might be related to, like second cousin, first cousin kind of way. All right, I'm going to steal 20 seconds. Bill Fuco, I see you at 3:49 p.m. You're not from Monessen or Charleroi, Pennsylvania, are you, by chance? Anyway, Bill, if you are, I think we may be related. So we'll have to hit each other up later. I saw your name, and I'm like, there's only so many people with the Fuco last name. We got to be indirectly related. So there you go. Anyway, I hate to do that, but I saw that name, and it was like, wow, I wonder. So, Monessen, yeah, my mother's a Romito, so I bet we're related, Bill, at some level. So there you go. Look at
that's awesome.
You never know what you're going to have happen on a webinar. So.
Hey, I do. We'll do some more Q&A here in just a second, but I do want to get this segment out of the way because every week I do a "What's Tom Reading" segment, and
nice.
this ties in perfectly with what we've been talking about today. And this is a really great book. I got recommended this out of another mastermind that I'm in, not the one I'm in with you, Brian, but a different one. It's by a guy named Bruce Turkle, and it's called "All About Them" and grow your business by focusing on others. And it's really about what we were just talking about, like how to focus on your customers, your clients, and make it all about them, which is really the secret sauce in the end to being successful, because they don't really give a crap about you, just quite frankly, right? They just want to know what's in it for them. And this book is a good resource for that. So you should check that out. All About Them by Bruce Turkle. And that's all of What's Tom's Reading.
You got a book on tape? Wait a minute. Nick and I want to know. Are you really reading it, Tom, is what I want to know.
Yeah,
I don't ever show the cliff notes. I actually read the cliff notes, but I show the real books on the show.
Brian, that's a green screen behind him.
Yeah, I don't worry, man. We know. And you're not even in Maui, dude. I don't even believe you.
Guys, I have a call with Google in about 5 minutes. But will you guys walk them through, what's in the OTO, all that type of stuff? Because I see some of those questions coming in, and I just don't want to. I'm gonna have to jump off here in 5 minutes, and I think.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to do that, Brian? Or
yeah, you know what? I got 5 minutes because I'm helping out a partner at 4. I can help, or Tom, if you just want to take it, I suspect.
Bye, Tom.
More than have it. So.
Take it. Yeah. We really appreciate you coming on. So. I'll go through what the upgrade is and that stuff, so you guys will know. So
awesome. Yeah. Tom, good to see you as usual. Talk to you later, and Nick, good luck on your call, man. See you soon.
All right.
Yeah, good to see you, Brian. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys.
But yeah, real quick, you guys, before I go, Lead Factory. The most inexpensive price you can get it at is today. It goes up over the next 4 days. The launch pricing goes up over the next 4 days. And at the end of the launch, it's going to go up to $197. So if you're interested in getting more prospects, more customers through email, you're going to want to go ahead and check the link that I've added right there on the screen, offlinesharks.com/lead factory-VIP. Again, the most inexpensive time you're ever going to be able to get it is today, because it's going up tomorrow in price a little bit, slightly over the next 4 days. And then, it'll go off of the launch pricing on Monday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So That's it. I'm going to let Tom take off. I've got a call with Google, which is a really good call. I've got some great information that we're going to be exchanging, and I'm going to be bringing that back to all of our people, of course. So, yeah, I look forward to that, and then seeing and speaking with you all in the Facebook group. So welcome to all the new people in our community. I know we have a lot of new people on here. And then, Tom, back to you, sir.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, have a good call with Google.
All right.
Tell them I said hi. So with Lead, so we have one upgrade with Lead Factory, right? So in the main product, you get 4 email sequences in 4 of what we consider the most profitable, kind of hottest niches. In the main product, you get painters, you get HVAC, you get real estate, you get insurance. And then we actually have a bonus template that's like a generic template that you can customize if there's niches that you want to target, right? Like you can use that as a starting point to write your own sequences. So you get all that in the main product, right? And you don't need anything else. Like that's really everything you need. We did put together one upgrade that gives you 7 additional email sequences in 7 different niches. So with the upgrade, you get automotive. You get a couple automotive emails, you get CPA, you get electrician, you get plumber, you get roofer, you get salons. Is that 7? So automotive, CPA, electrician, plumber, roofer, salons. There's one more. Oh, there's automotive repair and automotive like dealerships. So you get 2 of those. Yep. So there's 7 total in there. And then Brian also did some bonus trainings. There's 3 bonus training videos that you get in the upgrade on like, one is on like closing sales from him, one is on retention, and one is on just getting your agency up and profitable as quickly as possible, right? And then we also threw in a pack of like done for you sales and marketing materials. So there's hot sheets, there's blog posts, there's social media. There's actually some lead magnets in there that come with complete email sequences. So if you want to give the lead magnet away on your agency website, you get emails to do follow-up and stuff like that as well. So it's a really great package. And I think we're only charging like $37 for that. It's like super inexpensive for everything you get. And again, you don't need it. We just usually put those together because, some people just like to have more stuff and more things to make it work. But the main course on its own stands completely on its own. Like you don't really need anything else outside of that. So that's really it. So yeah, we're super excited about the launch. Thanks to all the sharks that have already jumped in. I know I've seen a lot of people coming in, and if you guys go through the course, we'd appreciate your feedback and things like that. Like we're super proud of it. And again, there's things in there that you just don't hear other people talking about, right? Especially with the strategy session stuff. Yeah, let me go through the comments here. If you guys have any last minute questions, I know we're coming up on the top of the hour. Let me know. Let's see. Jason said, does this tie into or different from email? Oh, so yeah. So we had an older course called Email Cache Blueprint, Jason, and this is very, very different. So Email Cache Blueprint was it was about cold email as well, but it wasn't like this. Like we weren't targeting niches. We didn't have follow-up sequences, anything like that. It was just more like general kind of best practices when using email, using cold email to prospect. There are some, we did have some templates and things, but they're kind of super generic. It's more like when you want to reach a specific person, right? Not targeting a specific niche. And there's nothing in there about, the automation process part of this, or all of that stuff is brand new for Lead Factory, stuff we've never shared before. And all the strategy session stuff, all that brand new, never shared that before. So no, you probably won't even, I can't even think of one video in Lead Factory would even seem kind of similar to anything that's an Email Cache Blueprint. So yeah, they're super, super different. Dorn asks if anyone's ever gotten a get well soon card from Google. I never have, Dorn. Let's take a look here. So Glenn, we don't have any bonuses. We don't have any bonuses when you buy through, like any special bonuses when you buy through us. We usually don't like to do that when we launch our own courses, because we have a lot of people that support us and they put together bonus packages. And like Nick said, if you guys want to look around and find somebody has a good bonus package, do that. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background there. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. But yeah, look around, see what other people are offering. There's some good ones out there. Heidi, it is not a lead scraper. So it is not a lead scraper. And Adil, you do not have to, where's Adil's question? Adil asked, do we need to have leads prior to using the system? No, you don't, Adil. Like if you have any leads and emails, like you can obviously plug those into our system, but we show you how to find the leads and do all that inside. So you don't need an email list or anything like that to start with. And Heidi, I see your question about, is this a lead scraper? And no, it is not. So we don't use any kind of lead scrapers to gather the leads. Now, again, if you want to use something like that, if you have a tool like that, and you want to use it to get emails, to use our sequences with, you can absolutely do that. But we didn't want that to be a requirement, right? We wanted to show you how to do it without any of that stuff. So cool. Mark says, Tom, you have explained that we become our client source information source. This came true yesterday with a client. Here, let me put this up here. Asked if he should subscribe to BBB because she trusted my advice. That is awesome, Mark. That is exactly what you want, right? Like when people have a marketing question, you want them asking you. So yeah. Mark says, hi, Patches. Yeah, really great stuff. Awesome. Let me see. Oh, no, Ken, I think they were making a joke. I think they were making a joke about that. Let's see. I'm looking through here. I don't know if it's the mailman. I think my wife is back. I think that's why he's barking, but I haven't seen anybody come in the house yet, so maybe not. So Paul asked, using real estate as an example, is this only how to get the job or also how to get the leads? So Paul, this is about how to get the job, right? Like, so you'll use whatever service you currently do or whatever you want to sell in the back end. Like I said, we do talk a little bit about that, but we don't, we don't explain, obviously, like the course would be so massive if we had to go into how to do every local marketing service. So we do point you in the right direction if you not sure what to do, but you can really do whatever you want. Let's see. Jacqueline says, on the downside, all these bonuses information overload. Yes, it is a lot. Nick and I were actually talking about that before we came on the live session. We were like, man, I wonder, like, what must people think when we, like, it's like we launch a product and it seems to be everywhere, right? Let me see. I'm trying to find my banner here and then I'll get to you guys. Ah, there we go. All right. Let's see. Tom, if we are managers for several GMB profiles, should we remove our email? Frankie, I no, you don't need to worry about that. It's really like, there are places out there, like really what Google targeted is there are people that do like a white label service where that company is really managing the GMBs, not the agency person, right? And that's really who they targeted. If you're managing multiple GMB listings, you shouldn't need to worry about that. Kristen had a question about the 12x9 postcard. Awesome, Kristen. She said, is there detail in the training on the prices you charge for the different ads? Yes, Kristen, there is a section in there on pricing, and I go through that. And I believe also, Kristen, there's a PDF in there as well. Under one of the videos, there's a PDF where I go through a bunch of pricing strategies and stuff too. So take a look at that. Paul says, is there a recommended cold email platform? So Paul, what we show you inside the course is how to do it all through Gmail or G Suite, right? And we do that on purpose because when you use things like autoresponders and stuff like that, there's a good chance that your emails aren't even going to make it to their inbox, right? So we actually show you how to connect some free tools and software to a G Suite account or to your personal Gmail, and you can automate the whole process using that. And your chances of actually getting the inbox are much more, they're better, right? Awesome, John. Welcome inside. Adil says, what can you recommend in place of ClickFunnels? So Adil, what you can do is, so one of the things I show you inside the course is a free app that allows you to, allows people to book appointments with you, and it syncs up with your Google Calendar, right? And part of that app, it comes with a free like booking page that you can add your logo to, you can put text on, you can customize. So you don't need to use our booking page. You could just use that. That page works really great. And it's actually even a little easier for the people that you send your emails to, because, and I show you this in the training, you can actually just put a link in your email that says book with me. And when they click that link, it takes them right to the page to book an appointment. With the landing page, there's an extra step, right? Because they go to the page and then they have to click another button to actually book the appointment. But there are other things out there like Kartra and other things if you're looking for that kind of stuff. But if you want to do something without having to take on any monthly fees or anything, I would just follow the method that I lay out there using the booking page as your landing page. I don't know what GMAS is, Dorn. I'm not sure what that is. So John, John says, what about using an autoresponder for follow-ups like second, third, fifth emails? So John, so the way that I show you how to set it up in the training is you're able to take all 4 emails and schedule them to go out right from your Gmail account. And so the way that the free app that you're using works is you schedule them, it sends them, and if somebody replies, it stops sending the additional follow-ups because now there's somebody who's replied, right? So it does that for you. Now, if you want to, the app that we show you, the little software that we show you inside the course, it can integrate with things like MailChimp. So if you want, I don't cover this in the training because it's a little kind of out of the scope of what we're doing here, but you could look there. They have pretty good documentation on things. But if you wanted to make it so that whenever someone responded, they were signed up to your MailChimp list, you could do that. Yeah, Dorn, I love Russell's trainings too, man. Like Nick, like, you know, I'll tell you something that has really surprised me. So Russell Brunson, number one, he's a, I guess what you'd call a legacy member of the mastermind group that Nick and I belong to, the one we just went to San Diego for. And one of the things that's really impressed me about what Russell does is like, I didn't think a lot of the things that he talked about applied to local marketing, right? But one of the biggest revelations for me in doing this whole offline sharks thing is how much of what we do here applies to helping local businesses do what they want to do. Like, it is so universal, it's crazy. And I thought they were two separate things for a long time. And I've really slowly started to realize that, like, no, they're not. Like, these things work. Like, you apply those things to a regular business, and not only do they work, but they usually work really well because nobody else is doing that. Like, other people don't do that. And so the results are way out of proportion. Mark says, can this be used for a variety of B2B services? You know, Mark, you could, if you follow the psychology, right? Like, if you really understand the psychology of what we're trying to do here, then you could apply that to any other things that you were trying to do, right? Bill says, is there a thought process on sending weekend emails? You know, Bill, I don't really talk about that in the training. You know, I would just use common sense. Like, I would send them when you think there's the best chance the person's going to see them. So, and what I mean by that is, like, I wouldn't send them on a Monday morning or a Friday evening, right? Because what happens Monday morning? People are coming into work. they're checking their email, they're just trying to get it cleared out as fast as possible. Probably not the best chance, right, for you to get through. Friday afternoon, same thing, getting ready to the weekend, getting ready to get out of there, like probably not the best chance. So I would think about, and specifically think about, the types of businesses that you're trying to target. Like, what does their work day and week look like, right? Because the reason I'm kind of sensitive to that is because as a restaurant manager, you know, there were times when it was just not good to try to get in touch with me, like during the lunch rush, during the dinner rush. Other businesses have those kinds of cycles too. So, you know, it's best if you have an understanding of what their cycle is. So like, I know for restaurant managers, your best bet is trying to reach them, you know, between like 2 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, because they're after the lunch rush, the dinner rush hasn't got there, right? That's probably your best chance. Or, you know, trying to do it, you know, right before the restaurant opens, but still that's tough because a lot of times they're dealing with staff that didn't show up. They're dealing with whatever problems they came into that day. So, you know, usually their main focus is just trying to get the restaurant opened, right? But once the lunch rush is over, they have a little bit of downtime. Awesome, John. Excited. Heidi said, what services do I offer? So Heidi, I do a variety of things. So I have a direct mailer that I send out in my local area here. And then I use that as kind of like my foot in the door to prospect off other services. So, you know, I offer website design, I offer social media. I do all of those kinds of things. I've even done some press releases for people around town and some just straight copywriting. I have a couple of gym clients that I've helped write their renewal letters and things like that. So, but a lot of the just standard local marketing services, reputation management, all those things that you see other people do. So awesome. Well, guys, look, it looks like I got through the questions. I know we went a little over today, but we really appreciate you all being here, joining us. I mean, there's 100 people still on here. That's awesome. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to, she met in the course. Heidi, I will answer your question. So in the course, we talk about website development. We talk about lead generation, SEO, and messenger marketing. So yeah, that's what we talk about inside the Lead Factory course. So yeah, so we really appreciate you guys all being here. If you have any questions, feel free, send us an email, offlinesharks.com/support, or ask it in the comments here and tag one of us. We'll get back to you. And again, we really appreciate all the shark love and support you guys throw our way today, and hope to see you inside the course. So thanks a lot, guys. Aloha, everybody.